Good morning, class. Happy Monday. Welcome to your first day of grammar for the week. So we have a little bit to do before we get to our sentence, but the good news is there's no new concepts, okay? But also what that means is that we have our little pop quiz, okay? So I do want you to try to answer these questions by yourself. Think about it in your head. You should have them in front of you in your grammar folder, but I'll take a minute and share the answers with you as well, okay? So let's look at the first one. It says, how many words can be in a number 6 VSS, which is our sentence opener, okay? So remember, those were the short, kind of punchy sentence openers that made a statement, okay? So think about it. So the answer is 2 to 5. There can be 2 to 5 words in the number 6 VSS sentence opener, okay? So question number 2, what is the main difference between a clause and a phrase? Okay, so let's think about that for a second. So phrases are the things that we don't put into clauses, right? They're the parts that just stick out. So what is the difference between a phrase and a clause? So the answer is that a clause will have a subject and a verb, okay? Clause, subject, plus verb. Whereas a phrase doesn't have a verb. Okay? And that's what makes it just a phrase. All right. So, question number 3. A VSS must be a sentence, and a sentence must have at least one clause, one main clause. What is the difference between a main clause and a dependent clause? Okay. So this is something that I think have talked about quite a bit. So you guys should have an idea. But the answer is that a main clause, and I'll just write MC, can stand alone as a sentence, okay? Main clause can stand alone as a sentence. Okay? Whereas a dependent clause cannot. Okay? So DC cannot. You can just write cannot. Okay? And if I'm going too fast for you at any point, just pause it, okay? So you can write your answers down as well. Okay? So a dependent clause is dependent on another clause, probably a main clause. Okay? So, question number 4 is, what words commonly start dependent clauses? Okay? Okay, in this, it's important to remember that dependent clauses and adverb clauses are AC clauses. Both fit under the category of dependent. That's why we give them the soft brackets, okay? Which means the answer is the WWW words, okay? So we have when, while, where, as, since, although, if, oh sorry, I switched that order, and because, okay, and also words like that one we see a lot, and who, and which, okay, so these are for dependent clauses. So take a minute and get those down, and then start editing your sentence, okay? I want you to do as many edits as you can before continuing to watch this video, all right? So I'll see you in just a moment. All right, welcome back. So let's get started, and I want to draw your attention to our definitions first. So we have trouncing, which means a severe beating, and ducking, which means plunging of the body underwater. So they're going after this guy. Okay, and I also want you to notice the phrase have at him, which we have in the middle, is an invitation to attack as well. So they're really going after this guy, okay? And this day, we have a lot going on and we have a couple extra things that we need to do that might feel a bit new to you. But I'm looking forward to showing you, and I hope that you've maybe even thought of a few of them yourself. But we'll see. Okay, so let's get started. So right off the bat, we know that we need to find which then it is. And the correct then is THEN. Okay. And for this sentence, this is a main clause. Okay, and it starts with then and it ends with himself. Okay. He is the subject and will is the first verb, but we're also having go as a verb. Okay. Then without is our preposition. Okay. And we have a coordinating conjunction with and. Okay. So that's in the clause. Then another thing to note is that this is talking. Okay. So we have quotation marks that start here and end with himself. Okay. And because it's talking, that means we're indenting as well. And we know that this guy, Will, is excited, so we're going to give an exclamation mark there. Okay, and sorry, I just capitalized then all on my own. But keep in mind that you have to capitalize. Okay, so that's our first clause. Then we actually have another main clause right here. And see, cried Will astutely. We'll end it there. Okay, and cried is the verb, and Will astutely is the subject. And we know, of course, that this is a name, so we're going to capitalize that as well. And we're actually going to put a period here. This is the end, so we're making a sentence right there. Okay? Which means this is a new sentence. We're capitalizing it. It is another main clause, and he's talking again. So he's saying, have at him, lads. So, and our quotation marks there, and our clause there. And again, he's like really worked up now, so we're going to do an exclamation mark there, okay? Which means that this is a new sentence. So let's capitalize at, okay? And that, or at, sorry, is another preposition. Okay, so because this is a new sentence, this actually gives us a number 2 sentence opener because it's a prepositional sentence opener. And because now we're moving out of talking and towards action, we're going to actually put an indent here as well. So I'm going to tuck it in really small, but make sure you remember that we have to indent with at that, okay? This is a new thing. All right, which brings us to our final clause, also a main clause, which goes for the rest of the sentence, which will just end with a period. Okay, and we're going to capitalize Will because that's a name. He's also our subject. Okay, and is our coordinating conjunction. Okay. Remember that when we come across numbers, we got to make them spelled out. So 20 other men is TWENTY. And because this coordinating conjunction is connecting both of these, they're actually both the subject. So make sure you label the men as the subject too. Okay. Our verb is sprang. And then upon is a preposition. And there you have it. So quite a bit going on here today. So please make sure that you remember all of your quotation marks and all of your indenting and all of your punctuation, okay? Because I know there's a lot going on. And let me check myself. We need a bit more punctuation because this is a noun of direct address. We need a comma before it, okay? So make sure you have that in there too. And then I think that will be all. Let's give it a little check. Mrs. Hudson needs to label our first sentence as a number 1 sentence opener. And then that will be all. Okay, so make sure you do your rewrite and that you include all of the punctuation and all of the new indents, okay? Have a good day.